Good morning, my beautiful audience. On behalf of Operation Rock and the Rescuing Our Communities initiative to empower and educate those who have been horribly violated and have their civil rights violated also by law enforcement, maybe by an ex partner, or someone who just may hate your guts enough to want to destroy you for something they feel you did that you probably didn't do. I am Clayton Howard here this morning with another informative broadcast that will walk you through how I was framed by the Staten Island District Attorney's Office after I won an order of protection against my ex, who the Office of the District Attorney of Staten Island, was personally backing. I'm just trying to subtitle this for my mom real quick. Forgive me, people. I'm working on this. This should all be synced. That's so irresponsible of me. Okay, there we go. So, why are we here today? Today, we're continuing our series discussing misconduct and corruption within local law enforcement, namely the Staten Island District Attorney's Office, as our series exposing local corruption within government office continues. And we start with the Staten Island District Attorney's Office because that's where I am from and I have an extensive amount of knowledge about this situation. So, a little bit about me for those who may be your first broadcast. My name is Clayton. I am a civil rights activist, certainly now, and a former victim of intimate partner stalking. I don't even want to say former, I want to say current victim because my ex-partner is still stalking. And I'm trying, people. I'm trying to bring the matter to a conclusion so I can go on with my life, take care of the things I need to do, and hopefully just make a complete break from this situation so I can go on, use what happened to me so it never happens to someone else again, people, because that's how passionate I have become about what happened to me. I am willing to invest the energy, the resources. Um, I'm willing to do it, people, as long as it wakes people up so that this, what happened to me, never happens to them. When you're a victim and your rights are denied by law enforcement due to gender bias, racism, or personal connections of your offender, the worst thing in the world is the feeling of realizing that you are completely powerless against a person who has all of the resources you're supposed to have. This is what happened to me on Staten Island, when several members of the NYPD, along with members of the Richmond County District Attorney's Office, decided to conspire together to frame me to protect the image of the Staten Island DA and the Staten Island Police Departments and my ex-girlfriend who had been already found liable for harassing me. Like I've said in my previous broadcast, you all know about that. So if you want to know more in detail about what happened to me in the beginning, you can watch part one and part two of this series about how the Staten Island District Attorney's corruption and misconduct violated my victim rights. Today, we're going to continue in our series by revealing more people who were involved in the conspiracy to deprive me of my rights. We're going to discuss, I believe it's 4 people in total today. Just let me look at this real quick, people, because I'm a little slow. I forgot how many people we're going to discuss today, people. But this is important. And I want anyone who's involved in their rights being violated to pay attention because this is what you have to do to hold your offenders accountable. You have to document, document, document. Do not be afraid to record them on the phone. First, legal advice: make sure you check your state's statutes and laws on recording people on the phone because that's important. If you live in a state that does not have one party participation as a rule of law for court and with regard to recording people on the phone, you could have a problem. I'm in New Jersey. I'm in New York. These are one party states. So what that means is that as the sole party, as long as I'm aware and consent to the recording, legally I can record someone on the phone. Now the I want to say the the counter to that is if the party gets on the phone in the middle of it, in the beginning of the conversation, it says, listen to me, I do not want to be recorded and I don't consent to being recorded or it being distributed to any party. Someone tells you that on the phone, as soon as you get on the phone, you technically can't record them. Now, if it's involved in a law enforcement investigation for a crime, they can do whatever the hell they want as long as they have what's called a subpoena or a warrant or a phone tap warrant to tap your calls or whatever that is. They can do whatever they want. You can't be on the phone if the police have your phone tapped and say, hey, listen, cops, stop recording me right now because I'm going to talk to this person. Doesn't work like that. But if it's something with a personal matter with an individual, a business, you can tell them, listen, I don't choose to be recorded, and you can hang up the phone on them if you don't want to do that conversation. They might try to advise you they are recording, but you don't have to speak to them. It's your choice. So I got to a point in my domestic violence. I don't even know what to call it, people. I sometimes I call it a situation, conflict, whatever the hell it was, people. It was a nightmare. So I got to a point in this where I realized that law enforcement was lying through their teeth to me. The reason they were lying to me through their teeth, people, was multifaceted. It wasn't just because I'm a black man. With intelligence and maturity, I know this now. They attacked me for several reasons. One was gender bias, because domestic violence is composed of women, and these women joined domestic violence as a career for several reasons. Some of them are actually victims of domestic violence, and they want to empower and help other people who have gone through the same experiences like them, like myself. Others are just women who hate men. They hate men for whatever reason it might be. Maybe they were the ugly fat girl in school and guys used to shit on them. So now this is how they get back at men, because, now they're a prosecutor or a domestic violence advocate. And when they see a victim come across them that's a woman who's hurt because a man may have totally just left her, disregarded her, whatever, they internalize it because it's happened to them. These are bad people. These are not good advocates. The second portion of advocates I'm talking about, because they're advocates that are not going to deal with justice. They're going to deal with their personal reflections on the trauma that they've had. And that's wrong when you're dealing in domestic violence. Talked about gender bias. Okay, I talked about real victims. I talked about pretenders. The next category of women in domestic violence are, and this is unfortunate, the ones who are the racist. And what I mean by racist, I mean, because this is the truth, there is a large percentage of Caucasian women that are prosecutors. There's nothing wrong with that. They're incredibly competent. They're ambitious. They're fucking nightmares if you really get a good one against you. That's the truth. Shout out to Caucasian white women prosecutors. They will fuck your whole life up if you play with them. Don't play with them. Respect them. Treat them with respect, because they will jam you up. They are the worst ones, because they're not doing it because they're victims or they're biased. They're doing it because of the systemic racism that's built in law enforcement. And this is their contribution to their people to keep fucking over minorities, is we're going to fuck them over in the court every chance we get. So unfortunately, women have become kind of and I got to say this right because I don't want to say it wrong and turn anybody off. Women have become a formidable force in domestic violence. More so in domestic violence, it becomes more about protecting the credibility of women in the group that support women than actually imposing and enforcing justice. And I can tell you this because it happened to me. My ex-girlfriend used several women's organizations against me, and I reached out to these organizations with transcripts and proof that she was lying. Instead of these organizations that advocate for everybody to receive justice and victim rights, that's not what happened. What they did was immediately cut her off from services and block me. Now, you've been helping this woman defame and slander me publicly for almost a year, telling people that I beat and abused her. And now that you know that she's lying, instead of you helping the actual victim get the justice he deserves, you close ranks on both parties to protect your own public image. Now, as I've told you, many of these programs, damn near all of them, get federal or state funding to aid domestic violence victims. So when you have a situation where a victim approaches an agency and an agency denies him, they have the right to deny that victim if he is also a criminal defendant. That's true. But in my circumstances, as you heard from the recordings of Mackenzie Upshaw in part 2 of this series, I was the victim the entire time. And that's admitted to by a Richmond County, Staten Island District Attorney's employee, that Clayton Howard, the man before you, was never the criminal offender of Francina Evans. I was the victim the entire time. But Staten Island supported her. She looked better. She's far more attractive than me. She's a beautiful girl. She's an average looking woman, but she has really pretty eyes. And that accentuates her beauty because it makes her stand out from other beautiful women that may be around her. You know, beauty, once people are beautiful, starts to get segmented on other aspects of it. When you get around a lot of women with a nice body, it starts to become who has the best body about who's the most in shape. When you get around women with beautiful hair, the next thing becomes who has the fullest hair, who has the best texture, whose color is the best. And when naturally you get around women with varying degrees of eyes, whatever color you're most attracted to, that woman is going to be the most attractive woman to you. It's just natural, people. We work as humans in segments, and as we see things that level us off, and let's say beauty, professionalism, um, I want to say competence, we start to look for differentiating factors to to segment people to the highest, I want to say, degree. So when these law enforcement agencies knew that I was the victim, they should have done something, but they didn't. Instead, what they did was they knew that they were powerful overall as an organization. So what they decided to do was this. They just said, you know something? We publicly supported this woman. We've been advocating with her. She's in and out of here. They couldn't allow me as a black man to step forward after I won this final restraining order on December 1st of 2022. I didn't make the mistake. They could not allow me as the actual victim to present myself to the public of Staten Island, because this is all about Staten Island, New York, which is so sad. Staten Island is a really small community. It's sad that they did all of this just to frame a black man for a domestic violence offense he never did. And that's why I advocate also, people, because if they were willing to frame me for a misdemeanor domestic violence offense for a girl to protect the reputation of the office, how many other people have they framed? This is something we really need to consider as civilians, as activists, and even as residents of Staten Island, because although this may go to a larger audience, Staten Island, this is for you. This is about your rights as minorities, because I was definitively framed, if you looked at the information, and I was framed for a misdemeanor domestic violence offense. Look at the felonies, the drug charges. The drug charges are big on Staten Island, people. A lot of these young kids get set up with drug charges. It's the easiest things for these cops to do. Think about what Clayton Howard is telling you as an activist, and you need to pay attention. Because if you don't pay attention, it could be your son, it could be your brother, it could be your father, it could be your sister. Because women are not immune to being set up. Minority women are not immune to being framed by racist or gender biased cops or over ambitious prosecutors, because that's it. It's not all about racism, people. Prosecutors, and I'm not trying to jump all over the place, but clearly you hear this is something I'm passionate about. Prosecutors, and I hate to say this, in the scope of the legal profession, prosecutors are the worst there is. It takes a certain type of person to remain a state prosecutor. You have to have no sense of ethics. You have to be incredibly ambitious to remain and become a successful prosecutor, because a prosecutor's job is to destroy people's lives. I'm going to tell you that straight up. Everybody is not a crime victim. A lot of people are innocent. What prosecutors do is they create narratives that make people guilty. And in that narrative they create, if they're good at it, they're lawyers. In that narrative they create, if a defendant or the defense attorney is not able to fight that narrative, they're screwed. They get a conviction. They go to jail, whatever. This is why they tell you to stay calm during the court process, which is incredibly hard if you're personally involved in someone you once cared about, someone that you love, someone that you connected to is hurt or hurting you. It's hard to remain calm. It's hard to remain calm when you're sitting in a court proceeding, especially family court, and with someone you were good to, and they're lying, saying you were beating them up and you were trying to hurt them and kill their family. People, that enrages you as an individual, especially if you know this is not what happened. If you know the people that are sitting there lying on you are people that you were good to and that you did a lot for, but just to hurt you because you want out of the situation, they're trying to destroy you by lying on you. It's human nature to become angry when people who you care about hurt you. I, despite the fact that I might be a crispy black motherfucker, am a human being, people. I'm not a robot. I'm not a damn android. I'm not a sociopath where I don't have emotions, people. I found my mother dead on the floor. That shit broke me. Nothing will break you more than finding your child deceased or the only parent you ever know. That's the two greatest pains that an individual will ever face. I know that for a fact. Um, it's wrong, people. It's wrong when you go through things and people don't want to help you. So I'm going to get to the whole point because I realize I'm kind of talking, and it might be good, but we got to get to the point of the broadcast. Excuse me, people. I don't want to go too long. So back to what I'm saying about the Staten Island District Attorney's Office. I'll be speaking about 4 people today: Darren Albanese, Albert Crawford, Lisa Thompson, and oh my God, it was one more person. How did I just forget that person so damn fast, people? That's so bad. Oh God, hold on, people. I feel so bad. I got sidetracked. No, it is. Okay, I was right. Lisa Thompson, Darren Albanese, and Albert Crawford. Who are these people? Now, I think I want to start with Lisa Thompson. That's who I want to start. Who's Lisa Thompson? Lisa Thompson is a member of the Richmond County DA's office, people. Lisa Thompson works within the Richmond County DA's offices. She's a cop, I also believe. I think she's a detective. But she works within the DV unit and she works with victims. And she was also part of, you know what, let's be a little bit more specific, people, because visuals help everyone. Visuals help people understand what's going on. And I've learned this as someone who is trying to pursue a law degree. Let's go on. And you want to know something, people? I'm going to tell you something for those of you out there who hate me, who say, oh, I have a criminal record. Let me tell you something. I'm so into doing this shit. I don't even care if the state of New York and New Jersey grants me a license. My mission is just to learn how to practice filing documents so what happens to me with my ex-girlfriend will never fucking happen again. My main pursuit or course of law, field of law is going to be civil law. Because civil rights matter, people. And even if I can't get a license because I have a criminal record, I'll have so much legal civil rights knowledge that I'll be able to be the best advocate possible. So despite the fact that I am not too confident I'll even get a law license, I'm still going to school to get a law degree. That shows you the level of commitment I have to this. I'm going to expose the Staten Island DA's office. They fucked with the right person. They should have left me alone, people. They should have left Clayton alone. They should have left me alone and apologized for the shit they did to me. But I don't matter. That's what they think anyway. They think I don't matter. They're fucking wrong. I do matter, and I'm going to show them. So let's go, because I am looking for one thing specifically, people. God, why can't I see all their pictures? Not tagged photos, not albums. There we go. Maybe that's it. Because I want to look at something specifically here, people. I'm trying to show you something specifically. I have to show you this in order to start my story. So I'm just going to try to find it. Not the Women's Journey to Growth. I'm looking for one specific event they host, people, because that event is what the topic of this conversation is. So I have to show you that event in order for you to understand what I'm saying. So just bear with me for a second, audience. We're going to get down to the nitty gritty because the only way for you to clearly understand what I'm saying is to show you. And then there's no confusion. It's not slander. I'm not lying on Mike McMahon. I'm not trying to defame the office of the Staten Island DA. I'm keeping it raw, people. I'm telling you exactly what it is. Mike McMahon is a racist and this office is corrupt. And I'm going to show you. So let's get down to it. God, I never realized they post this many pictures. Probably because I don't really watch them like that, which is good. The sight of fucking Mike McMahon's face disgusts me. He's a piece of shit. And I don't say that lightly, people. I don't just talk about this man because I don't like him. There was one point where I greatly respected him. I didn't agree with him, but I respected him. I have no respect for this guy now. I know he's a racist piece of shit. I know he's biased. I know he's corrupt, and I'm going to expose him because you can't leave the wrong people in power. And Mike McMahon is the wrong person in power. Is this it? Is this it? This looks like the damn event. Where's the ad, bro? I'm looking for an ad for an event they have called A Mile in My Shoes because that's what started all of this. This is how I knew for a definitive fact that the Richmond County DA's office was violating my domestic violence rights because they would not give me access to this event and they knew I was the victim. So there we go. Told you, got to be patient, people. All right, so we go here. Now we do a screen share, guys. We go to boop, 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 boop. Nope, 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 nope. That's fucking weird. Right, there we go. Okay, I hope everybody sees this. Yes, this is A Mile in Our Shoes, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. And as you see, that's October 5th of 2024. I found out about this event after my ex was honored as the actual victim of a domestic violence dispute. And I want to show you this, people. Hold on. Remember this date, October 5th, 2024. Let's go back and let's go from there to there. Okay. I'm going to show you this. As you can see, this is my ex-girlfriend right here. And behind her is the backdrop of the Staten Island District Attorney's Office. This is for the event that I'm talking about. I think this is actually not National Crime Victims' Rights Week last year. But the point I'm trying to show you is that my ex was actively involved in victims advocate services with the Staten Island District Attorney. And this is, I forgot, sometime last year. I think it's actually in June. It may not actually be in October. It's whenever they had this whole banquet. Matter of fact, I'm bugging out, people. It's National Crime Victims' Rights Week last year. The same thing that they just had this year, this is last year. Well, my ex is here as a victim of domestic violence. Remember, I told you that. So now we're going to go back from there, and we're going to go here. This recording I am about to play my audience, and let me get there, is between myself and a woman by the name of Lisa Thompson, a detective, I believe, that works within the domestic violence unit of the Richmond County District Attorney's Office. And the only reason I know this is because I actually have a history with Lisa Thompson that began back in 2022. I can't show her email address, which I'm glad I'm not. Let me cut that out because I don't want to do that. Then they'll be like, oh my God, you're showing her email address. You're trying to harm her. People know the fuck I'm not. In any event, so let me show you. So as you can see, I don't know if anyone can see from the bottom of the screen, I want to show you when my association with Lisa Thompson started. Let's go to the bottom of the screen there. As you can see. Now, if everyone can see this, that says 6/17 of 2022. So people, I've been in contact with Lisa Thompson. I've had interactions with Lisa Thompson from the DA's office of Staten Island since June 17th of 2022. That's 6 months before I won a final restraining order for Francina Evans. So Lisa Thompson is someone within the District County DA's office, and I want to show you more, people, because Clayton Howard has been called the liar. I reached out. Me and Lisa Thompson spoke, as you see, on June 7th. God damn, it keeps putting it back up there. Forgive me, people. Lisa Thompson and I spoke back in. You see the date. You see she was working with me. You see I sent her copies of the proof I owned the dog. Francina was lying. Here's the vet records. Here's the HIPAA papers for the dog. Here's the police report from New Jersey. Here's all the stuff to the Staten Island District Attorney's Office about her robbing me for the dog on Valentine's Day weekend. People, the Richmond County DA's office about the judge ordering her to return the dog. People, all of this was sent to the Staten Island District Attorney's Office. So the Staten Island District Attorney's Office knew Francina had criminal charges, that she had robbed me for the dog, and all of this was happening in New Jersey. They knew she was not a victim of domestic violence. This is why I'm showing you this, my audience. So now let's go back. This recording here, and I gotta go back to my normal screen size, people, because this is huge. Okay, we'll go back to, yeah, we're there. So this recording we're gonna play here is between myself and Lisa Thompson. This is a recording I have between myself and Lisa Thompson, where Lisa threatens me not to come to the Mile in Our Shoes event at the Staten Island DA's office. And let's go back to that screen. So I was threatened by Lisa Thompson that if I appeared at this event, I would be arrested. And I would be arrested. I'm gonna let Lisa tell you. I'm gonna let you hear what Lisa Thompson said to me, audience. And you tell me if this is not a threat and if what I'm saying is not 100% valid. Let's go.
Remember, for more information about New York City government services, dial 311.
My fellow New Yorkers, we live in the city that never sleeps. We face our challenges.
Sorry, they must have me on hold. They did that a lot when I called them. They would have me on hold for like a half hour, an hour, and I guess that's when they would be trying to do their little strategy sessions. You know what I'm saying? Like they would be doing their little strategy sessions, seeing if they could, what they were going to tell me on the phone. People, there was a massive conspiracy between employees in the DA's office and the 120 precinct supervisor and the detective squad to completely deny me any of the resources afforded to a domestic violence victim. I'm saying this, people don't want to believe me. From now, I'm intelligent, articulate, and skilled enough to show you in a live cast where I'm going to play stuff back to back and show you the timeline of the conspiracy, the actions of the co-conspirators. And I'm going to prove to you that the Staten Island District Attorney's Office was 100% aware that Francina Evans was never a victim of domestic violence. They knew since June of 2022 that Francina had robbed me.
Hello,
they knew that she had robbed me, that she had been charged in New Jersey, there was an order of protection against her, and that she had been ordered to return the dog. They actually aided her in keeping the dog every time, because I had a temporary order in. They would aid her long enough so the temporary order would expire, and they wouldn't have to give me back the dog. People, that's what Lisa Thompson did to me. Lisa Thompson in the DA's office.
Hello, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for holding. We do appreciate that you are reaching out and that your interest in the event, but unfortunately, there has been some back and forth, and we can't have folks speaking that have open cases.
From the case that the case that the DA's office actually set me up on after this woman was convicted. The lawsuit here is going to be great. So you guys are denying me the right to tell my story for a false case that everyone knows I got set up because you all know my ex-girlfriend. This is so wrong. What your name is Lisa? You said, right, Lisa?
Yeah, sir.
Not a problem.
We do. We are sorry that you're going through this, but we do discourage that you attend the event.
You do discourage that I attend
we
the event.
We don't encourage that you attend. We don't encourage that you attend.
I am, because I am a victim and I have the right to attend. I cannot legally be barred from an event when I am legally the victim with the final trial issued FRO. Just because you guys have a personal relationship with the defendant, this is wrong. This is such a violation of my rights. I'm going to attend the event and I'm going to call my attorney.
There are open cases on both ends. We don't encourage either of you to attend and until everything is fully resolved. And I'm sorry, but there's nothing different with you than it would be with any other person with an open case in our office.
It is actually different with me because you guys set me up on a false report, the DA's office. And
thank you, sir. I'm going to have to go, but thank you for your call.
I'm just going to give it to my attorney. Thank you so much, Lisa. You totally confirmed what we already know.
So, people, that was Lisa Thompson of the Staten Island DA's office telling me not to go to the event. However, people, let's go back. Because remember, Lisa Thompson told Clayton Howard not to go to this event. She strongly advised me not to go to the event. Well, people, if Lisa Thompson advised me not to strongly go to the event, why was Francina Evans there? People, remember, she said neither one of us could go, people. This is 2024. That recording is from this event in 2024. People, Lisa told me she strongly advises me not to go to the event. People, they threatened to arrest me. And in the next recording, I'm going to let you hear that. The next recording you're going to hear is from Albert Crawford. And Albert Crawford is another individual of the Richmond County District Attorney's Office. And I'm going to let you hear what Mr. Crawford said. Because people, I'm talking about, Your Honor, damn, I'm in court too much, people, oh my God. Because people, we need to know the truth, which is that the local DA's office on Staten Island is fucking corrupt. Let's go. All right, there goes the screen. I think there was more than one from Albert.
Any of these conversations can get disclosed. They're
all
Albert Crawford case.
Can I have one question? What about prior to the May 16th arrest? Why was I always refused to be spoken to? Why was no call returned? Why did no prosecutor call me when I had an FRO?
I cannot speak. I can't answer because I haven't spoken with you personally, and I can't speak for anybody else. But I know that you and I have.
Lisa Thompson has helped me. I have tried everything I can to legally get this office to respect me as the victim with the final issued FRO, and you guys do everything in your power to turn me away.
What's
your name, sir?
Say again?
What was your name again?
My name's Andrew Crawford.
This is so wrong.
Andrew Crawford, excuse me.
All right, Mr. Howard, have a good day,
wrong,
man.
Mr. Crawford.
Yep.
Now, people, you hear that. They're totally fucking dismissive. Totally dismissive. No one will talk to me. Now, people, I got arrested on May 16th. Before May 16th, when you originally heard me talk to Mackenzie Upshaw, people, that was January 30th. That was 4 months before I was arrested. You just saw an email, Lisa Thompson and the DA's office, because Lisa Thompson works for the DA of Staten Island. They were aware about the burglary charges. They were aware about the order to return the dog. They were aware about the order of protection. People, how the fuck did they honor this girl? And let's go back, people, because we're not done. Oh, we forgot about that. We forgot about something, people. We so busy shutting these assholes down, we forgot to show you. So, okay, people, let's go. Ah, frick. I can't do it like that. Damn, people, how the hell I do this? Shit. Wait a minute. I have another idea. Will that work? I don't know. Let me check another account. Forgive me, audience. I thought I could just click it from my email, but for some stupid reason, Google makes you do that all the time. Let me do this again. God damn, how do I do this? I forgot. Shit, I forgot. Oh, there we go. Okay. That might be it. I might be right. Hold on, people. Let me just be kind of. Stop that dumb shit, please. Come on. Fine for you. Nope. Yes. All right, let's see if I can find this all audience. Please bear with me. I apologize. Normally, I don't take this long. I was better prepared. I think I do have a video that says this. I think I do. Okay. Nope. I know I do, people. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're gonna stop there. How do you stop this? Okay, there we go. All right, Bob, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back here. I would like to do this. All right, everyone, here we go. I'm sorry. Forgive the technical difficulties. Now, this is when my ex was honored right after I contacted Mackenzie and spoke to I think I spoke to Courtney Chase after this. But the emails that you saw yesterday with the numerous orders of protection, that happened before she was honored. I spoke to Lisa Thompson from the email I just showed you previously in the broadcast. All of that happened before this speech.
Relocate from my home for safety and step down from panels. I cannot even accept a full-time job right now due to the litigation abuse consuming the majority of my time, and not to mention finances. Every single person that I know and love and respect has been slandered and threatened on social media for supporting me on any level, even morally. Sounds like a nightmare, right? It is. For the first 8 months of this nightmare, I was actually viewed by the domestic violence officers as the assailant. They wouldn't take my reports.
That's a lie.
They called me names such as Amber Heard and took the other side initially.
I hate this girl so much. People, I can't watch this. The fucking sound of her voice physically disgusts me, people. So, people, that's what I went through. Now, that's the Staten Island District Attorney's Office honoring this woman and letting her give a speech about domestic violence. People, they know she had 3 damn orders of protection against her. People, she had just been indicted on criminal charges. I was a criminal victim. I'm a victim. A criminal victim does not control the admission of an indictment. That's controlled by a grand jury. That's regulated by a prosecutor. The only thing I did was participate. People, 25 individuals I never met in my life indicted Francina Evans. How the fuck did the DA's office honor her? They know this. They're prosecutors, people. That was the major conspiracy they needed. They needed to put her up here on this stage because, people, I had an order of protection and indictment against her. The only thing that would drown that out is the public attention from social media. So they honored her, people, and they made you all think that she was actually the criminal victim, when the truth was she was the defendant the whole time, and they knew it. Lisa Thompson knew it. Michael McMahon knew it because he's intricately involved in this, and so did Pastor Lieutenant Victor Brown. They knew this, people. They knew I was the victim the entire time. Safe Horizon knew I was a victim. The 120 knew I was the victim. The 123 knew I was the victim. The 122 might not have been involved, but the 121 knew I was a victim too. People, I was a black man. I don't deserve any civil rights. I don't deserve the 14th Amendment's protections of equal protection under law. I don't deserve that shit. I'm an angry nigga. I'm an animal. I deserve to be in jail. So these racist, disgusting, biased cocksuckers, what they did was they totally conspired amongst each other so I would be locked out of any domestic violence resources at every level. The advocacy level, the police level, and the prosecutor level. And what you're hearing is exactly what I've been telling you, that each work together. Oh, we have a good one also. We also have a recording from the detective that arrested me, Joseph Quirk. And I'm going to play that next. I forgot about that. I forgot about Detective Joseph Quirk. Let's go back to the recording of Detective Joseph Quirk. Quirk right there. There, Quirk. There goes Quirk right here. So, people, this is another conversation I had. This is a conversation I had with Detective Joseph Quirk of the 120 precinct, the arresting officer who falsely arrested me for violations allegedly to Francina Evans. Now, people, I couldn't catch this piece of shit on the phone for nothing I wanted to. But one day I got lucky and I called the DA and this bastard answered the phone. And I'd like my audience to hear what happened. Now, before I ask you to hear what happened, remember, this is the guy who falsely arrested me for a charge that was completely dismissed. As the person who was falsely arrested, I have the right, if I can prove, to go back to the police and file a false report complaint to have the person who did this to me arrested. This is what I did using the transcript from the court and using proof that Francina got convicted and lied. I went back to the 120, the precinct that issued the arrest warrant for me allegedly lying on her, and I took the proof that we had a trial that she had lost, and I filed a police report. Now, in response to that, I was issued a complaint number, and this complaint number was assigned to the detective squad of the 120. They're being sued for civil rights violations. So people, the NYPD said, fuck that, we're going to do our job now, and they did detain Francina Evans. But like I'm telling you, the DA dropped her charges. And listen to Detective Quirk's conversation.
Hello? I'm sorry, you blacked out on me. I'm getting in my car. What did you say?
This complaint is already closed due to an arrest.
She wasn't arrested. They let her go. This is what I'm talking about. This woman can do anything to me with evidence.
Maybe court let her go, but she was in fact arrested by the police.
I'm sorry, my car phone picked up. So you said she was in fact arrested, but she was let go.
I don't know if she was let go. Maybe court let her go after she saw the judge, but she was arrested on that complaint report.
She never went to the judge. My attorney checked. She was never even brought to the court. She was let out the precinct, actually. We checked. She never made it to the bullpen.
Maybe the DA's office declined to prosecute then. I don't know. But as far as the police department, I did not make the arrest, so I do not know what the outcome was. However, this case is inactive due to there being an arrest made.
Okay, so what about the next case? Because there's actually there's 3 reports out of your you know what, Detective Quirk? We're not going to get anywhere. I see that. Thank you very much for helping me, sir.
Now, see, that piece of shit, he wouldn't even give me his sergeant's name, people. That's the detective who arrested me. That's the detective who issued the falsified complaint by which I was arrested 4 months later. That's that piece of shit, pig bastard Joseph Quirk. Forgive me, people, it's Sunday, but as you can see, I get very passionate about that guy because he violated my rights and caused me hell. So yes, I don't like him. So as you can hear, this is the detective who arrested me. Now, there were several complaints, out of the 120 precinct against Francina Evans. As you hear me relay to him, 2 of them were for false reports and malicious prosecution she initiated when she went to that precinct and lied to have me arrested. 1 of them is against her bitch-made brother, Matthew Evans, because Matthew lied to the police also and said that I threatened him. Now, mind you, people, we're in family court. These stupid motherfuckers are so confident and so they're confident in their security with the police and the protection that they're receiving and the misconduct that's being attributed to them in their favor. They lie to the police and say that I tried to attack them and throw a garbage can at them in family court. These stupid bastards, there's cameras all over the place. So now, people, a month later, I go back to court. I get arrested for attacking Francina and Matthew in court, something I never did. They arrest me. They bring me to the 120. By this time, I had some pretty good attorneys. They start getting on the cops immediately. Yo, you're fucking lying. His attorney was right there. That never happened. The brother rushed him. So now my family court attorney goes to the precinct. She says, listen to me. If you don't let this guy go right now, you guys got a problem because I was there. I will testify. He never did this. They attacked him. And when they attacked him, he responded like he should have done as someone who was being threatened. This is ridiculous. Why will you not arrest this woman? People, they held me in the 120 precinct on November 17th of 2023 for 7.5 hours while they looked through the security footage of the Richmond County Family Court to try to find anything that proved Francina was telling the truth. People, they looked at all 37 cameras in that building, and you know what they found? Nothing but me walking down Stuyvesant Place to my car in the parking lot behind the precinct, getting in my fucking car and going home. People, I even had an Easy Pass receipt that proves there's no way I could have waited for Francina and her brother because I was at the bridge 20 minutes later. They had to wait 25 minutes to get out of court. So the DA's office has to drop that case against me, and I'm let it go. So people, I reported that false arrest also. And the 120 was supposed to arrest Francina. They didn't. One of the complaints mysteriously vanished, people. To this day, they don't know what happens. But thank God I have a copy of the pink copy of the case, the report. And it can prove I submitted it to the police department. The next case is the case Detective Quirk is talking about. That's the case that they declined to prosecute. So she lied on me. You falsely prosecuted me for a year. You have definitive proof that substantiates this woman lied through her fucking teeth on me, and you won't prosecute her? People, it gets better. Remember, a conspiracy takes more than one person. It takes, for law enforcement, it takes advocates, it takes police, it takes prosecutors, and it takes judges. Now we go back to the prosecutors, people. We're going to go to Chief Prosecutor Darren Albanese. That's important. Darren Albanese, Darren Albanese. This is Darren. Nope, that's not. That's my first contact. I think it's this one right here. Yes. So, Darren Albanese. Actually, let's show you Darren Albanese. Let's go to, because this is the DA's page, so we can probably see Mr. Albanese. If he's on their public website, I'm not doing anything wrong showing this picture. So, let's look at the About Us page of the DA of Staten Island. Am I live? No, I'm not. Let's go live. I'm sorry, people. My screen share keeps dying. It's probably me clicking out. There we go. And I'm assuming we're live. There we go. So this is the District Attorney of Staten Island's Facebook page. Let's go to the About Us page. Contact info. You got a website. Boom, they got a website. Let's go to the website. Share this tab. Hope my audience sees it. You do. Say, this is the District Attorney of Staten Island, Michael McMahon, like I told you. The same man. Actually, you know what? Let's do a side-by-side comparison of Mr. McMahon. Why not? I have found that picture yesterday. People, you saw the picture I put up yesterday with Mike McMahon standing next to my late mother, so you know that's him. So now we're going to go to our efforts, scams, careers, contacts. Let's go here. Who we are. Our mission, the leadership. This is the leadership of the Staten Island District Attorney's Office. This is Michael McMahon. I can't speak bad about this woman. I never met her. Even if she's involved in this, I can't say anything bad. She's never done anything directly to me. It's really disappointing to see a black man up here with all of the stuff these people have done to me, because there's no way in hell this guy doesn't know that this is a lie. This is so wrong. And it's really disappointing to see this brother. I'm not going to call him a Sambo. I'm not going to call him a race trader, because the truth is he's surrounded by a bunch of people that he has to be compliant with. And again, he is a state prosecutor. Remember what I said. Some of the worst people in the law enforcement profession are prosecutors. They are the ones who have to be ambitious and unethical enough to destroy the lives they destroy when they send people to jail for crimes they never commit. Because that's the worst thing you can do as someone who's sworn to uphold the law and the justice of the system, is know someone is innocent and prosecute them. This is why I say prosecutors are the worst section of the law industry. I don't know Mr. Palladino. Sure, he's a pretty decent guy. She has a nice smile, and she got a nice name, Tuesday. That's what's up. I like names like that. This is Darren Albanese. Let's click. Can we see Mr. Albanese? This is Mr. Albanese. He looks like a fucking racist. Forgive me for saying it. He has I'm a racist shit all over his face. He might not be, but his face looks like it. So now, people, this is Mr. Albanese, and I believe he's the Executive ADA for Criminal Court Operation and Professional fucking Development. This is the guy, bro. This is the guy who can hold people accountable for violating the civil rights of Clayton, and he can push an investigation against Francina Evans for malicious prosecution and false reporting. But people, let me walk you through Mr. Albanese. Now, this email here is a conversation between Mr. Albanese and my counsel, John Rappaway. As I said, people of Staten Island, if you need a really good criminal attorney, you should call John Rappaway. Google him. He's a great damn attorney. Tell him Clayton Howard sent you. I'm not getting no money for this, but tell him Clayton Howard sent you, because he did a great job getting these people to at least acknowledge the fact that Francina was a damn defendant. So, Mr. Darren Albanese of the Richmond County DA's office, I want to go back. This is Mr. Albanese. He sends my lawyer, John Rappaway, this email. Good afternoon, Mr. Rappaway. I received word from Courtney Chase and ADA Gabrielle Giovinazzo of a request for my office to review more closely the case against your client, Mr. Clayton Howard, myself. The matter involves allegations of aggravated harassment involving a former intimate partner, Francina Evans. My understanding is that there have been prior allegations and prior arrests where Miss Evans was arrested. It was also brought to my attention that Mr. Howard currently has a family court order of protection issued out of Essex County, New Jersey, against Miss Evans, and that Miss Evans is currently facing felony charges of burglary pertaining to an incident where Mr. Howard is the complainant. ADA Giovinazzo, this is the prosecutor who was trying to get my lawyer to have me take anything to satisfy Francina Evans, and I are going to personally looking into these allegations, including reaching out to the appropriate individuals from Essex County. In the interim, can you please send me any materials you may have to support a disposition in this matter in favor of your client? Anything specifically from Essex County proceedings might help me make a decision consistent with our efforts to pursue fairness, justice, and equality. Please feel free to run all communications through me or Miss ADA Giovinazzo. Do not hesitate to reach out with any questions or to discuss the matter further. Regards, Darren Albanese, Executive ADA, Criminal Court Operations, Professional Development, Office of the Staten Island District Attorney. And that is dated, where's the date? September 8th, people, 2023. Now remember that date, people, because that's important. I want to go and say NYC dismissal. Marshall, is that it? Yes. So here we go, people. As you see before you, this before you is the dismissal of the criminal charges that was put against me by my ex-girlfriend. As you can see, it's October 30th of 2023. Now, that's important because as you just saw from the email, and let's go back from the email of Mr. Albanese. As you just saw from the emails of Mr. Albanese here, the date is September 8th of 2003. So let me walk you through what happened. This is what happened. My lawyer sent Darren Albanese the Essex County trial transcript, all of it, to the Richmond County DA's office. He also sent them the appeals. He sent them the decision from the motion to enforce the rights of the litigant. He connected them with the Essex County prosecutor's office. And people, they had to drop my criminal case because they had no case against me. Francina lied. Everything she reported had happened in New Jersey, plus it had been adjudicated before a judge, and she had lost. So now they have to drop my charges, and this is why you see the dismissal of my charges in New York right here before you on October 30th, 2023. Now, people, it's really messed up to say this, but guess what? Now they drop my charges. I want justice. And it's not messed up, but people, I wanted justice. So I waited because they dropped my charges. I filed a police report, and then I contacted Mr. Albanese personally myself because, people, I'm no longer a criminal defendant. The district attorney's office cannot speak to you if you're a criminal defendant during an active prosecution who is represented during counsel. People, as you see from the last email, they dismissed my case on October 30th of 2023. So November 30th of 2003, Clayton Howard was no longer a criminal defendant. So the legal barrier that prevented the district attorneys of Staten Island from discussing my domestic violence situation was gone. There was no more barrier. I reach out to Mr. Albanese. Let me roll this up so I can read it and see it. All right. You were contacted several weeks back regarding Francina Evans. Francina Evans was issued an order to stay away from Clayton Howard and his infant child for life on 12/1 of 2022. Ms. Evans took all the dismissed allegations from her Essex County Criminal Court trial where they were dismissed and filed them as false reports in New York City, despite her knowledge that the charges had already been heard and dismissed in another court. Racist detectives within the 120 precinct and unethical prosecutors within your office falsified criminal charges of contempt against me for allegations the detectives know your office could prove to be accurate. I probably should have left racist out. It's not a good way to start with somebody who's probably already racist. Being more mature, I realized that wasn't the best way to start an email for a positive exchange. So I in maturity, I'm going to apologize for that. I wish I could have took the racist term out, but people, they were racist. In addition, both your office and the detective squad of the 120 precinct had knowledge of the order against Francina Evans and the trial decision as it was provided. Your office and the 120 lied to me and told me that the order from New Jersey, registered in Richmond County, was not valid, which you and I know is a lie. My lifetime no contact order has been ignored by your office in the NYPD due to personal connections being manipulated in favor of Francina Evans, who was already guilty in one court and will be in another court shortly. Every criminal case filed against me has been dismissed after I've provided proof of the lies told by Francina Evans. The defendant is stalking and harassing me, whom your office refuses to prosecute every time she violates the trial order against her. Your office actually protects the defendant, Francina Evans, and refuses to assist me, Clayton Howard, the trial order recipient of a final order. Again, your office actually arrested me and charged me with all the offenses that were heard and dismissed in Essex County Court, and due to bigotry and racism within the department and the district attorney's office, you all refused to review court-certified proof, which it was right in your faces. Francina Evans has stalked, harassed, and filed dozens of false reports against me over 2 years. There has been hard, 100% verifiable proof she violated the order against her. Even Francina Evans admitted on record to violations in Staten Island. Your office has refused to prosecute despite all the valid proof of this woman's violations to the trial order against her. The unjust practices and discrimination within the Richmond County District Attorney's Office has been a problem for Black men for years. It seems that only through attorneys will your office do what is right and just for the true victim, if they happen to be a minority male, as even advocates in your office, Mackenzie Upshaw, Courtney Chase, will not assist me as the trial-ordered victim and holder of the order that has superior burden of proof to the temporary order that racist detectives within the 120 precinct and prosecutors within your office will not openly and honestly admit. As a Black male from Staten Island, having lived and witnessed the racist and unfair practices of officers and some prosecutors, it is sad that this is still a true state of Staten Island, where a Black man proven to have told the truth is ignored because of unethical racist conduct from those who are supposed to be held to a higher standard. I had hoped you, Mr. Albanese, being an ethical state employee, would have taken the time to respond to myself or my attorneys with regard to Francina Evans, as due to your email to John Rappaway, my attorney at the time, you were clearly aware of the unethical practices going on within your office. It saddens me to see that it is not the case, and the harassment, stalking, and false reporting is still going unchecked by your office and ignored. Attached are all my attorneys for this matter, and I am respectfully requesting again that this matter be addressed by your office and not ignored in favor of a trial-proven liar. I ask again that your office protect the rights of the actual victim, Clayton Howard, and stop Francina Evans from the continued harassment and false reporting which will affect my health and peace. As a victim of domestic violence with a trial order, I was granted by the court the right to be left alone by Francina Evans. Your office has aided her in the continued harassment and the quest for vengeance she has undertaken, even acting as a revenge tool by falsely arresting me for allegations known to be untrue. Ethically, your office had an obligation to speak and help me as the victim, but I have only been ignored, and I have finally reached my point of disgust. I will be contacting every department necessary until your office does the right legal thing and protects myself, Clayton Howard, as the trial-ordered victim, and not with a valid no-contact order against Francina Evans. Her personal relationship with Mr. McMahon or the executives in your office should not grant her favor and prevent help for the true victim, especially if there is a final order after trial against her filed days before she filed false charges on me, which were now dismissed by your office, and you know this. Although I have no criminal cases, your office refuses to deal with me. So there are 5 attorneys listed in this email that your office can deal with. A copy of this email is also being afforded to the Department of Investigations, as I filed a complaint months back and have been forwarding them every time I provide. Everything I have to prove your office has repeatedly violated my victim rights and refuses to enforce an order against Francina Evans, despite all the dismissals and transcript proof she lied to the attorneys and officers within the 120 precinct. Your office and the 120 are so determined to falsely arrest me, none of you bothered to check that the address being used by Francina Evans to file at the 120, if anyone had checked, it would be known that it's an abandoned house she doesn't even live in. What is so bad about this is your refusal to prosecute her due to personal relationships within your office between Francina Evans, Mr. McMahon, and other executives. It is creating a false narrative she is using in New Jersey court to claim the violations are lie. The truth is, none of her violations are lie. Your office simply refuses keeps refusing to prosecute her despite the evidence due to the personal relationships mentioned within, and relentlessly comes after me with no evidence, only her statement. But when I file reports, it takes months to even be called by a detective, and then your office declines to prosecute her, citing my complaint as retaliations for the violations she's actually committed. In essence, your office dismisses her charges for false reporting, even though your office knows she lies and has dropped criminal charges against me or against myself. Again, my attorneys are all included, and I am requesting your office and advocates stop violating my rights as the trial-ordered victim and provide me protection and services against Francina Evans. I have also sent a CC to the Essex County prosecutor criminally prosecuting Francina Evans for all the crimes she has done against me that your office refuses to acknowledge. I have included the investigator from the New York City Department of Investigations also, as I need this to stop and your office to take accountability for the injustice being done to me by Francina Evans, a proven liar. Before I end, I apologize if you personally take offense to my belief your office may be racially unjust, ethical, and unjust. Wow, people, I forgot. So see, even though in the beginning I apologized because I said I came at him strong, I tried to clean it up as a man to man, and clean it up and apologize so he's not personally offended. Just because these other people have done something doesn't mean you're a racist, Mr. Albanese. So I tried to clean that up and say, hey, listen, man, I know I'm using some strong language. It doesn't necessarily mean it's you. But guess what, people? Darren Albanese said, fuck you. Listen, believing this to be true is something I actually pray is not. What is going on? Wait. Believing this to be true is something I actually pray is not what is going on. But in truth, this is exactly what's going on. Francina Evans is not my first false arrest on Staten Island, as your office falsely arrested and prosecuted me for stealing the vehicle of Gwendolyn Carr, whom I had paid the entire time she claimed to have never heard from me in her police report, which thank God I do have a copy of. I am 100% credible, as I was falsely prosecuted for Gwen's car also by your office. All of my attorneys have access to this proof, so using it to state I am not credible will get your office nowhere. Gwen Carr is another example of false reporting and your office practice of prosecuting innocent minorities, and this must stop. Now, I sent him names to all my attorneys and people. I sent them the order of protection, the sealed transcript, the New York State dismissal, and another order of protection against Francina. People, how the hell did Darren Albanese ignore me? That's what you got to ask yourself, people. How did this state prosecutor, look at his face again, people? This is him. This is the fucking guy. This guy is responsible for holding those who work within the DA's office accountable if they violate someone's victim's rights. Why did nothing happen to Mackenzie Upshaw? Why did nothing happen to Courtney Chase? Why was Albert Crawford not chastised? Why was Lisa Thompson not chastised for threatening the actual victim of a domestic violence dispute with denying him access to the event so he wouldn't speak out against what the district attorney actually has been doing? See, audience, I want to show you. That's Darren Albanese before I get off. Now we're going to stop sharing. Here's the truth. The Staten Island District Attorney's Office knew I was the victim. They knew it. And what they had been doing was denying me the rights to go to any domestic violence events because the truth was they knew I would speak out about the things that they had done to me also. I wouldn't just talk about the trauma of being hurt as a victim. I would talk about the things that the DA's office did to me also. And the Staten Island DA didn't want that. They didn't want me stepping up there talking about how detectives had framed me and how the DA's office had maliciously prosecuted and falsified documents against me. People, they didn't want that at all. So what they decided to do, I'm trying to show you another picture of that event before we wrap up. It was somewhere right around here. Forgive me, people. Come on. I just saw it. I saw it not too long ago. Where the hell did I see this thing? Just saw this thing. I hope I didn't go past it. I think that is nothing. I'm sorry, audience. I just had the damn picture up, but I took it down. Trying to find it fast. I'm hoping I didn't blur past it going so damn quick. There it is. Found it. So, people, what they wanted, they did not want me to participate in this event right here. Because I tried to participate in this event. I tried to go there. I tried to be amongst other victims and survivors, and I tried to tell my story. What you heard was Lisa Thompson threatened me not to go to that event, despite Courtney Chase, Mackenzie Upshaw, Lisa Thompson, Andrew Crawford, excuse me, forgive me, Mr. Crawford, for constantly calling you Albert. I had a best friend, Albert, when I was a kid. He died. So maybe that's why I'm associating the name. But anyway, and and Andrew Crawford denied me and conspired together to violate me my victim rights. When you add Detective Quirk from the NYPD, when you add Detective, oh God, what's this other guy's name? De Palma from the NYPD, 2 officers that effectuated false complaints against me to have me arrested. They're from the NYPD. When you add the Richmond County DA's office to that equation and advocates from outside agencies, people, you have a conspiracy. I wouldn't have a conspiracy if everybody involved in this only worked within the DA's office, because there's actually case law that refutes a conspiracy if everyone works for the same agency. Allegedly, you can't have a conspiracy if everyone works in the same agency. But people, luckily for me, I can have a conspiracy because the NYPD and the Richmond County DA's office are 2 different agencies. Safe Horizon is not part of the NYPD. The Family Justice Center is not part of the NYPD and the Richmond County DA's office. So we have 4 separate organizations that literally control domestic violence resources on Staten Island that you have heard in the last 2 days conspired to completely deny me any resources at any level so Francina Evans could remain the trial-ordered victim in the public opinion and could stay in her favor. Now, here's the truth. Francina is not the trial-ordered victim of a domestic violence dispute. Clayton Howard is. Clayton Howard has the trial order of protection. Clayton Howard has the legal validity over Francina Evans, who, again, people, actually denied the allegations in her own New York State temporary order of protection by alleging the Family Justice Center falsified documents against her, everyone. When is enough enough? When are we as a conscious group of people going to finally wake up to the truth of this matter? And that's that the Staten Island District Attorney's Office is racist. It just is what it is, people. There's no way we can get around the truth of this situation, which is that the Staten Island District Attorney's Office is horribly biased and racist. People, I just played you recordings from advocates. I just showed you emails from prosecutors. I just played you a recording from the cop who told you the DA's office refused to prosecute her despite the fact I had been falsely arrested and the charges had been dropped, and I had a final order of protection against her protected by federal law. People, you got to ask yourself a question. Am I, Clayton Howard, truly just someone who's picking on the Staten Island DA's office? Am I cyber harassing people? Am I harassing people? Or am I just telling the truth? And my truth exposes these people who are creating so many lies. That's what's going on here. The truth of what happens to me exposes Darren Albanese to be a bigot and a fucking liar. The truth of what happened to me exposes Mackenzie Upshaw to not be the advocate she's claiming she is, but to be a liar who lied to an innocent victim to protect a woman as a woman who's attracted to a woman who was probably attracted to Francina, because I've heard some shit about Francina over the last months. I've heard she likes women. Now, it may not be true, but I've heard decisively that she has had relationships with women. And I'm not really surprised because she's not very feminine. I went around her. I dated her. She don't really cook, clean, none of that shit. That bitch do push-ups and make juice all day. That's kind of like a dude. You know, even her back kind of looked like a dude. But I'm not trying to insult her. Let's not get off the topic because I really don't want to insult her. We got to ask ourselves the question, audience, why this woman has never been arrested despite all of the evidence you have seen. Why is it that despite the fact that I can show you definitively, and I got to go back to it, people, I can show you definitively that my charges have been dismissed and sealed that my charges were dismissed and sealed the same day. Now, people, they were sealed. You see it right here. If anyone can see it, you see my charges were dismissed the same day, people. I want to blow it up so everybody can see it because that's how we get shit done. Even though it says ACD people, they did ACD people to shit on me. And I told my attorney that happened. They should have, I wanted a dismissal. What they did was dismiss it through ACD. My attorney called me and told me they were going to dismiss it. When I got this paper, I got the dismissal through a fucking ACD. I didn't want that. I wanted a dismissal, and that's what I believed I had. So that might be another action, but I already have a civil action. And so long as I could sue them, I didn't trip. Now, people, when you get what's called an ACD or adjudicated conditional release, that adjudicated conditional release is maintained on the premise that you are going to be monitored for 6 months to a year to make sure you do not reoffend. That is part of receiving an ACD, unless you're innocent. Where you're innocent, what they'll do, the district attorney, to try to save face, is they'll try to grant you an ACD, and then they'll seal your action immediately. Because by sealing your action immediately, people, do you know what they do? They stop, one, other people from using it against you, and two, it proves to any law enforcement officer who looks, if that action got sealed immediately, it meant the person involved wasn't in any danger. Because people remember, Francina's saying she's in danger. Why did they dismiss the criminal order of protection against me immediately and seal it? Because she was lying, and the Staten Island District Attorney's Office knew it. So what they did was dismiss this criminal court order, seal the damn case, and pray to God I wouldn't be able to get a civil attorney to jack their ass up for arresting me for crimes that happened in New York, in New Jersey, and prosecuting me for almost a year. People, like I've said, what happened with me in the Staten Island District Attorney's Office could have been mediated. There was no need for civil litigation, people. I didn't want to sue them. I just wanted them to stop her. I came from Staten Island, people. I'm not trying to attack the resources of my own community. Staten Island got issues. Some people out there fucked up. I didn't want to sue the DA and the police. People, I was simply asking them to help me stop this woman. You hear how they lied to me about the validity of the order of protection against Francina, how they purposely conspired to deny me the resources of the domestic violence of victims, even though the advocate in the DA's office admitted to the fact that I was the victim the entire time and should have never been arrested. People, you hear them threaten me from going to domestic violence events that afraid that I might expose them for the things they done. People, how am I a liar? People, I'm gonna make this challenge as I've made in every live cast I've made in this series to the Staten Island DA's office. Andrew Crawford, Lisa Thompson, Courtney Chase, Darren Albanese, Mike McMahon himself. I'm challenging you. Prove I'm a liar. Prove the recordings are falsified. Prove the emails from Darren Albanese are falsified. Prove the confession of Mackenzie Upsaw on tape where she admits I was always the victim and that I should have never been arrested. Prove that those are falsified or lies. Prove they're AI generated. Prove that I'm lying. Prove there's more than that I talked to Mackenzie later and she tells me she was mistaken. I was a victim. See, they can't prove that, people, because that shit don't exist. When I called Mackenzie back after this admission, as you heard, she hung up the phone in my ear. When I called back thinking it maybe was an accident, Dr. Courtney Chase answered and basically told me to go fuck off and dismissed me, as you heard. This is what I was going through dealing with the Richmond County DA's office. Gender bias, racism, corruption, and discrimination. So people, my mission has become to expose these people for what they did to me. Anyone who would laugh at the fact that a man can prove that he was set up by the local DA's office for a low-level domestic violence offense is a clown. Because people, again, if they could set me up for a low-level misdemeanor domestic violence offense, look at all the people who are catching drug cases. Look at all the people catching gun charges. Look at the murders that's happening. You don't think they're falsifying evidence and narratives to get those convictions? Come on, people, they are. If they're willing to compromise themselves for a simple domestic violence offense, you think they're not willing to compromise themselves for gun, drug, or murder charges? They 100% are, people. And that's the point of my advocacy, to wake people up enough to say, wait a minute, this guy might have been strong, this guy might have been profane, he might have been aggressive in the beginning, but the things he's saying make sense. If they were willing to frame him like he can clearly prove for a simple domestic violence offense to deny him resources and outlets at all levels, what do you think they're doing to people who are fucking getting caught with drugs? What do you think they're doing to people who get in fights and might get in unfortunate situations? They're manipulating the narratives to put these people in jail. That's what they're doing. People, that's corruption. That's not justice. It's not justice when you're falsifying narratives and altering evidence so that you're getting what you want and you're looking efficient as a prosecutor, but you're violating people's civil rights. That's not a just prosecutor, people. That's a dangerous prosecutor. And the Staten Island District Attorney's Office is dangerous, but unfortunately for them, I'm fucking crazy and I don't care. I'm going to keep talking about them. I'm going to keep showing proof of what they did, and I'm going to keep advocating every chance I get until, like I said, they own what they did to me. See, people, when someone wrongs you, it's nothing for them to give you an apology, people. An apology is something done by decent people, by human beings. Prosecutors are not human beings. The majority of them, not all of them, because there are some out there that are good, but what they do when they realize that the system that they serve is corrupt, they become defense attorneys. That's the truth. That's what happens to most people who become prosecutors. They sit there, they see the truth of the situation, that this is bullshit. These people are fucking corrupt. I don't want to be a part of this. I want out of here. And they become defense attorneys to defend against the very system that they originally went in thinking that it was corrupt, that it was just and favorable. It's not, people. The system is rigged. The game is rigged. And if you don't realize the game is rigged, you're going to constantly keep losing. Don't think after watching what happened to me that it won't happen to you. That would make you a fool. Anybody who thinks that what happened to you can't happen to me is a damn fool, people. I'm a black man like a lot of you out there watching. And even if you're white, I'm a man like you out there watching. You think your wife or your ex-girlfriend or your baby mother, your kid's mother can't go lie on you to the cops? And she might have a nice set of tits, excuse my language, or a nice ass, and that cop won't help her get you in jail? People, he will just to smash, people. You don't think some DA, some cornball DA that gets no vagina is going to sit there and butter up to your girlfriend or your daughters? Most of the times, prosecutors won't do that. Let me give them a little more respect in that. They do have a little bit more integrity than sleep with victims. But what they do is they want to convict you as the defendant because it boosts their record. That's a prosecutor's motivation. I wouldn't say a prosecutor's motivation is to sleep with a woman. Maybe McMahon, because he's an old, dry, racist, geriatric piece of shit who probably hasn't had a young piece of vagina in 30 years. I could see him doing it, but I can't see a prosecutor's motivation for helping a female, the victim of domestic violence, as a sexual relationship. I see them more as wanting to fulfill their quota with domestic violence prosecutors and build on their career path, which honestly is understandable, but it's not fair when you have someone who's totally innocent being prosecuted by a malicious or bitter offender. And most of the time, these prosecutors know it. They can see it because there's evidence that counteracts what the victim is saying. But what they do is they put that to the side or bury it because their objective is a prosecution. Remember, a prosecutor's job is not to make sure you're innocent. A prosecutor's job is to make sure you're guilty. That's it. They do have to reveal evidence that proves your guilt, but they hide it a lot of the times. And if your attorney's not skilled enough to file through it, to look at it, if your attorney's not skilled enough to read through the documentation to see what they did, you got a problem. Case in point. My attorney, the Staten Island DA's office, with my first case for Francina Evans, they tried to lie and say they submitted the discovery. Now, the truth was this attorney, this prosecutor, never submitted the discovery. She falsified a document to make the court think that she submitted discovery to my attorney, and he caught that and said, wait a minute, you never sent me this. She tried to lie and tell him he did. He said, no, sweetie, you didn't send me this. You're lying. He brought that to the judge's attention, saying, wait a minute, we have a procedural due process violation here because she's lying. She filed a falsified document alleging that she submitted all this additional discovery from Mr. Howard. But as I'm reviewing my records, she never did. And then the court mandated that she provide proof that she sent him this stuff. And she couldn't, people. The reason is because there was nothing else to send because there was no more evidence against me, people, because I didn't do it. There was nothing they could falsify against me. But she tried to lie to the court to push the case forward by claiming to have submitted discoveries she never did. The Staten Island DA's office is corrupt, people. You may not like me for my speech. Shit, you might not like me for my looks. You might not like me because I know somebody that you don't like. I get all of that. But people, justice is justice. Right is right. And the civil rights of everyone is important, not just me, not just my ex-girlfriend, not just these prosecutors. Everyone has the right to be left alone if a court ordered that they be left alone. A prosecutor's office does not have the right to circumvent an order of a judge just so they can protect their public image. And that's what the Staten Island DA's office did to me. Anyone who doubts what I'm saying, watch episode 92, 93, and 94. Listen to the recordings of Mackenzie Upshaw and Courtney Chase. Listen to the emails of Albert Crawford. People, listen to read the emails of Darren Albanese, listen to Lisa Thompson, listen to Andrew Crawford. People, if you think I'm a liar, look at the evidence and you tell me if the Staten Island District Attorney's Office did not conspire to lock me out of every resource afforded to a domestic violence victim so no one would help me expose what was going on with Francina Evans. And you ask yourself, am I a liar? Why can no one prove that I'm lying? Why can no one show that the office of the district attorney did try to help me? Why is no advocacy agency attacking me because they gave me resources? Because the truth is, people, they wouldn't. To this day, they won't grant me resources, even though, again, if you go back to episode 2, you clearly hear Mackenzie Upshaw say I was the victim the entire time and should have never been arrested. People, how does Staten Island have justice? It doesn't, people. Staten Island is corrupt, and I am Clayton Howard, the advocate who is going to break the wheel or fucking die trying, people, because I don't care. I've lost a lot, people. I lost a mother who lived for Staten Island. And she would honestly be horribly disappointed on me if I sat back and allowed that scumbag Michael McMahon and that piece of shit Victor Brown, who I'll call a piece of shit on a Sunday because he's not a man of the cloth. If I sit back and allow these people to get away with the conspiracy they set up to deprive me of my civil rights. You know why, people? Because what happened to me can happen to someone else. And that's what my late mother was about. She was about sharing experiences so you could prevent the pain from other people happening if it happened to you. And I'm going to live true to that shit. I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to scream from the highest mountaintop and show every piece of evidence I have against the Richmond County DA's office until they do three things. One, prosecute my damn offender. Two, totally acknowledge my order of protection against this woman. Three, compensate me for the emotional turmoil and the slander, defamation, and civil rights violations they imposed upon me when they falsely arrested me, maliciously prosecuted me, and supported a woman who was slandering me by supporting the narrative breaking up was not a crime. Breaking up is not a crime, people, unless you break up with Francina Evans, who decided that since I dumped her, I deserve her to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So she started filing false police reports on me. She started lying to the local DA. She started lying to detectives. And guess what, people? Breaking up became a crime. Clayton became a criminal because he dumped a woman who couldn't stand up to her damn mother. That is sad, people. That is a joke. And honestly, everyone who compromised their professional career without doing the investigation into Francina Evans, you deserve whatever happens to you from this situation because you were stupid. As an advocate, as an attorney, not as a judge, as an advocate, as an attorney, as a pastor, you have the obligation to seek the truth and to tell the truth, not bury the truth because you don't like it and it doesn't support a narrative that you want. And that's exactly what Pastor Victor Brown did to me. That's exactly what Michael McMahon did to me. And that's exactly what the Staten Island District Attorney's Office did to me to protect its professional image as an office that protects the rights of victims. It doesn't. It falsifies documents against victims that it does not favor in favor of offenders that it would rather market for political clout in the appearance of righteousness and justice while violating the rights of innocent men and women, because it doesn't only happen to men. I'm a victim. This is my story. And I'm going to continue to tell it, people, because I'm not afraid of Michael McMahon. I'm not afraid of his office. I'm not afraid of Darren Albanese. They are men like me. They are elected officials that the people entrust with the responsibility to them. And people, they failed in that responsibility when they refused to arrest Francina Evans, when they deny a federally protected order of protection, when they deny the actual victim of a domestic violence dispute with access to resources so they can protect their own image, and people, when they will not prosecute the offender. That's when they fail. They fail when they fail when they fail to protect the actual victim of a domestic violence offense because they have a mandatory duty to do it if they want their funding. So I got to go after their funding, people. On behalf of justice, on behalf of Operation Rock, on behalf of a mother who taught me, Clayton, never give up, and everything you need to know is in a book, I fight against the Staten Island DA's office today and every day until I receive the justice that I deserve, which is my offender prosecuted and myself being financially compensated. And I'd like a public apology to people, but I doubt I'll get that. I should at least get the respect of being allowed to utilize the resources of a domestic violence victim, because as you heard Mackenzie Upshaw say, I was always the victim. I should have never been arrested. On behalf of Operation Rock, this is Clayton, people, doing